Yo, you listen to More About Something Else. Once again, thank you for listening. If you like the show, like it, review it, share it. You can do one, or you can do all three. Either way, I appreciate it. But please, once again, go vote. Early registration starts October 22nd. Last day to vote is November 6th. But while you're thinking about that and going to contemplate on who you're going to vote for, here's a clip from the show. What is it about relationships that people yearn for so much? Like, why do you want to be in a relationship? What are you going to get out of being in a relationship? Like, I feel like people should start asking questions like that, because I feel like people just want to get into a relationship just because. And now that you've heard that, let's begin.
First off, I'm going to have to ask you to go and rate this show, maybe even leave a comment. And you could do that on iTunes or SoundCloud, and for Android users, you can now listen via Google Play. Now, this podcast may contain explicit content, just saying, so open your mind, relax, and listen to this dope-ass podcast.
For thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else. Hey, food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest.
If people don't understand that, well, they don't understand nothing.
Truth spilling, leaving victims to my honest ways. I come in peaks like an alien from outer space. Internet pirates riding waves on your webpage. Download shit, click the link, press play. I don't mean to pray, but I pray every week for myself, for my fam, cause we all gotta eat. Protein, no more sweets. Till I'm caked up on the beach in Belize. Food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else. Wait, food for thought coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else. Wait.
Yo, you listen to More About Something Else. My name is Joshua, and I just want to say thank you to any and everybody that's been rocking with the show. Truly, I appreciate you listening. If you like the show, please like it, review it, share it. You can do one, or you can do all three. Either way, I appreciate it. But anyways, we're in this lovely month of October, and I don't know, the weather just seems all right. I guess I can say that. But mostly, as I've been talking to a lot of people, the most common thing that I've heard from people is saying, can you believe it's October? And a part of me is just like, no, not really. A part of me is also like, I've been planning for October for 2 months, you know? Like, this is what I want to do in October, and I set my mind on it, I wrote it down, and that's it. Time flies, don't get me wrong. Time only flies when you're doing something and when you're not doing something. It's up to you to decide what side you want to be on. But anyways, I love to start off the podcast with this, you know, as you went through your problems in life, and as you went through these little things where you didn't know how to become the person that you were today, and boom, you're the person you are today. But let me ask you this. When you were going through these problems, right, do you think that you're the person that you needed back then? It's really important to realize that from the aspect of who you're supposed to be and who you wanted to become. Because if you're nothing like the person that you needed when you actually needed somebody, then in my personal opinion, I feel like you strayed away from the person that you're supposed to be. Like, I can give you an example as far as like, I always used to get discouraged when somebody says something. And now it's just like when somebody says something, I eat it up alive. And this was like when I was younger, but now it's just like, all right, like, are you that person that you needed when you were young? Plain and simple. Think about it. But anyways, things that bother me this week. So, I personal train and blah, blah, blah. I had a client, a fitness appointment, I like to do this for free, just to assess you, sometimes give you a little workout, blah, blah, blah. Build up some type of rapport with different clients, right? So I'm at the gym. I text one of my clients, or not even my client, potential clients. I guess you could say potential clients. I guess that's fair. But text her, hey, you coming? You on your way? So it's probably like 10:05. She was supposed to be there at 10. Okay. And then I get another text message talking about who this bitch. I'm just like, the fuck? And then I get a phone call. And let me remind you, my phone stays on Do Not Disturb from 8 p.m. till 12 p.m. So you got to call me a bunch of times. Like, I don't have it on for my favorites either. Like, you have to call me a bunch of times. So same number's calling me a bunch of times. I'm just like, oh, she's calling me. I think that she's going to be late or something, or she wants to reschedule. And next thing you know, all I hear is, why you calling my girl? Why you texting my girl? And I'm just like, because she has a fitness appointment, my dude. He was just like, it's not even what he said. I asked him, I said, hey, is she coming or not? Because to me, honestly, I didn't care that he called me. I was just asking, is she coming or not? So I can leave. He said, nah, she not coming. I said, does she want to reschedule? What? Like, what are we doing here? You know? Then he hung up on me. Then I get a text message talking about you seeing my girl, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, look, don't get me wrong. Honestly, love yourself for who you are. That is personality wise. That is not body wise. Okay. The person that I could say was a potential client, it's no longer going to be on the prospect list. Let me tell you about this person that I'm trying to train. She's 324 pounds. Okay. She's a nice girl. She's 28 years old. She came to me. She asked me for help. And in my head, I'm just like, my dude, you got her. All right. That's your queen. All right. Like, you can have her and nobody else would want her. No disrespect, to be honest. No disrespect. But I'm just saying, I'm the farthest person from that, you know? And I don't want that. And a part of me was just mad. And it came to my head. It was just like, do you really have the audacity to call somebody up and ask them what's going on between your girl and so? In my head, I'm just like, I'm trying to help her lose weight. Just simple things like that. But you're coming out here and you're insecure about whatever and whatever. Granted, you know, honestly, I don't know what's going on in the situation. She may have cheated. I don't know. But that's just the thing. It's just like, look, honestly, if you don't want to be disappointed, don't go on somebody's phone. I mean, because anything can set it off. Literally anything. Why are you texting this person? Why are you liking this picture? Why are you saying haha to somebody else? You know? Why are these girls laughing at your jokes? I'm just naming shit. I don't know. But it's just things like that. And this is my thing. It's just like, I don't know. I felt so bothered by it because I was just like, I've never had this encounter before. And, you know, I told my manager, I was like, hey, this happened. Just want to let you know in case some black dude come and try and get me. Blah, blah, blah. My manager was just like, you know, honestly, it's a thing, you know. It happens. In this industry, it does happen because there's a bunch of dudes that are overprotective over their women because they're not in shape or whatever, or they feel like they can do a better job. Honestly, if he felt like he could have done a better job, honestly, she would never came to me. But anyways, look, this is all to say, don't be insecure about certain situations like that. And don't keep hitting my phone up asking me what's going on. Okay? That really bothered me. It really did. But anyways, on to something else. Hey, please go vote. I'm going to say one more time. Please go vote. If you're registered to vote, October 9th is the last day to register to vote. Please go vote. I can't express this enough. And the reason why I can't express this enough is because I'm tired of you people. Okay? I'm tired of you people always going on social media. You got these think pieces together. You got your facts. You got your non-facts. And you're mixing them together. And we're just all blended with ideas and whatnot. But that don't mean shit if you don't vote. How are you going to tell me about something and you don't vote? Look, honestly, I just got the privilege to vote, you know. And I'm super excited because for the first time in my life, I feel like I can contribute to society just from that aspect of a political standpoint. Okay? There's people that's been able to vote for so long, but they say it doesn't count. I used to say that, and I couldn't even vote. Like, that's very hypocritical of me to say, right? don't vote. You know, that shit don't count. It does count. Thus saying that, please, go vote. I just want to let everybody know that your political standpoint and your view of the society is invalid if you don't vote. I want to let you know that right now. And if you do vote, please tell a friend to go vote. And thank you for voting. For the people that actually care, you know. But anyways, those are the things that bother me this week. You know, I was thinking for a while, actually for probably the course out of this week, right? I just been thinking about this whole Kavanaugh thing and the justice system and just things like that. Just been thinking about that whole topic as a whole, not just about the political standpoint, but just from the standpoint of like, things are really as messed up as they seem. But we choose not to talk about them because we feel like what we have placed in as quote unquote what we call the system is going to work out. You know, I came out and I said, hey, you know, why now? You know, this is going to ruin her life and this is going to ruin his life, regardless of whatever happens, you know? And that's just a thing, right? Whether the story is right or wrong, we have a long way to come. And the crazy thing about it is that, especially when it comes to men and a lot of white women, when it comes to rape victims, they're just like, well, how come you didn't go tell? And I've said that before because I didn't understand the standpoint, because I believed in the justice system. But time after time, these undocumented rape cases, these rape victims that have been raped and have not said nothing, I understand. And I just want to say I understand from the standpoint of like, what could happen after this? Because literally, what is it that you want at the end of the day? Like, rape is a big deal. To me, at least. I believe that. Because that's something that you can't get back. You don't have control over what's going on in your body at that time, at that moment. And that's scary. You know, just thinking about it from a standpoint of if I have kids, or not if, but when I have kids, I don't want that to happen, you know? So I understand from that standpoint. It just bothers me that people still neglect the fact that the system does not work. And that's my thing here. It's just like, we cannot be naive over and over and over again. Like, we can't sit here and act like things are going to work out for the better, because they're not. Shift gears. I want to ask, you know, if you have been paying attention to the Kavanaugh thing versus the Ford, blah, blah, blah. I really want to know what the motive was. Was it to ignite and make women mad so that they can go vote? Was that the strategy? Or was it to talk about the character of this one guy that's going to be nominated into Supreme Court Justice? Like, it's just those type of questions that you have to have, because it's just like, why are our emotions tied into something that should be logical or not? And how dirty are political leaders going to play and get low to the point where we're outraged, you know? And that's my thing. It's just like, this one situation has highlighted a lot for us. A lot of people are doing their think pieces, and, you know, HBO has the Consent 30-minute mini doc that people should probably go watch. And that's my thing. Like, the one thing that I got out of this is just that you just got to be careful, you know? Whether somebody tries to come at you out of malicious intent, or somebody's coming at you just because you did something wrong, both need to be justified. Like, if you did something wrong like that, yeah, something needs to be done. But the question is what, you know? You can only send somebody to prison for so long, apparently. But I don't know. It's sad. And the thing about it is just like, we're witnessing here. And the crazy part about it is that we're realizing how our people actually feel about rape victims. And that's the sad part here, because I feel like nobody really cares. But like I said, look, things can only get better from here, but I fear for people's life. You know, social media is going to be one dangerous thing later on in life. We have digital imprints. Everything is about data now. They have your data, whatever you did. Somebody will find it and it'll come back to you. I don't know. Live your life accordingly and make good decisions, because here we are in 2018 and we're going through a crisis. But like I said, make good decisions, and keep it moving. I like to segue to this. And since we're talking about legal system and whatnot, I know people have been paying attention to this Van Dyke verdict. And by far, this is the first time that it's ever happened, you know, just from the standpoint of like being visually seen somebody shot so many times and not being acquitted for their actions, but to blame it on a reasonable gesture of the victim that persuaded the cop to act aggressively. And that's always been the take, that the police officer responded because it was a fight or flight situation. You know, thank God for cameras, you know. At one point in my life, I used to think that people were wilding and they were always calling the police crazy and whatnot. And I didn't really understand that. I don't want to say I didn't understand that. But time after time, it never fails, because we have video evidence of what is going on in today's society. Literally, somebody only has to put it on their Twitter and it goes viral. And we see stuff like that. And it's just like, oh, I understand now. You know, like, what's going on? My whole thing around that is like, what's the point of signing up to be a cop? Or I guess you can call it signing up. I don't know what you want to call it. If it's a job to you, it's a job. But if you want to sign up to protect and serve, okay, then we're talking. But anyways, I just feel like in all these little situations, it could have been avoided. I feel like because people have the power to do something, that they choose to do something. I understand if you fear for your life, but we've heard that so many times that they've feared for their life that they end up dead. And not dead as in a warning shot and a shot. I'm talking 16 shots. I'm talking 9 shots. It doesn't make sense. But here we are. This cop has been not sentenced, but they've determined it a second-degree murder. And quite frankly, I'm happy, because Chicago is already dangerous as it is, you know. I believe it was $70 million that I believe it was the mayor that approved for a new police academy, $70 million. But they say they don't have any money for the education. And this is my thing. It's just like, you put more money into the police, you would think that they're going to get proper training. Chicago is already a dangerous place to be in. Do you think it's going to work out well for the police? Like, if that would have happened, I felt like Chicago would have went into martial law, you know, things like that. And I don't want to say I'm happy about the verdict. I am. But what happens now? Because is this the first? Like, should this be a warning to the people that have done something before? Or not even before, or just in general? Or are thinking of doing it? Is this a warning to them? Or is this just for us to shut up? Because that's sometimes how I feel about it. Sometimes we get a little win here and there. Like I said, the system is not really made for us. The system is there just in place. It's a placeholder. And there's a lot of tension going around. And it seems like that tension is going to break really, really soon. But I'm happy about this, you know. There's no reasonable excuse. That's what it is. This is an excuse to shoot somebody 16 times and they didn't move. But that's to say, you know, rest in peace to Laquan, because that boy doesn't have his life anymore. And that's probably the most saddest part about this all. say, man, if you really like the show, and I assume that you like it because you're still listening to the show, but if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, please, write us a review. It helps people find the show, for one, and it also gives people an idea of what's going on in the show without actually listening. So, it attracts other people, and I'm just asking, if you don't want to, it's cool. If you do, God bless you. Now back to the show. What is it about relationships that people yearn for it so much? Like, why do you want to be in a relationship? What are you going to get out of being in a relationship? Like, I feel like people should start asking questions like that, because I feel like people just want to get into a relationship just because. And that's the sad thing, is that you want to get into a relationship just because, everybody else is in a relationship. You're the only single person, But those things don't really matter. This is the part where you say, well, Josh, why doesn't it matter? Well, let me tell you why it doesn't matter. Because if you're incomplete, just in general, in any aspect, if you show any sign of weakness, and don't get me wrong, everybody has their own thing. Everybody has their own issues, and it's okay. It's all right. I'm not saying that you should go into a relationship whole. Everybody's going to have their flaws. But knowing who you are is more important than trying to please somebody else. Because let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going to start pleasing. You're going to be drained. Then they're going to let you down. The sad thing about life is that people always let you down. That's the only thing that's going to happen, is people will let you down. It does not matter who it is. To have more faith in somebody else than to have more faith in yourself, man, you wild. You wild. It just doesn't make sense. To me, at least. But here we are, asking questions about relationships because, I see it all the time. And look, I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just talking. This is my opinion. Okay. What are you going to do to make yourself happy? If somebody else makes you happy and you can't seem to make yourself happy, I don't know, fam. I don't know. It's not for you. Like, how much are you investing in yourself to make yourself better, to make yourself happy, to be a little selfish? One thing that I started doing, I started being a lot more selfish. Not a little, a lot. Okay? Suddenly, you're not able to reach me. Suddenly, I'm making moves by myself. Suddenly, I'm making sure that my mental health is just as good than to toxify it by adding people around me. It's one thing that I just don't like in general. Negative people. If you're miserable, stay away from me. Okay. Stay away from. I don't need that negativity in my life. And that's the thing. That's what some people are going to bring to the table. And you don't want that. Okay. That's how you become whole. Remove all toxic. I hate the word toxic. I'm not even going to lie to you. I hate it so much. But remove all toxic people from your life. Remove all toxic behaviors from your life. Start believing in yourself. Start believing that you're going to do something and that you're going to be something. There's one thing that I always put into the factor is age, Got to do this by this time. Look, silly me. I used to think that I was going to be married at 25. Married at 25, have kids at 28, blah, blah, blah. The shit that you do when you're little. Because that's how things were portrayed, right? But once again, we're here. And we're still crying about being in a relationship. And, don't get me wrong. Like, I understand. Some people just need love. I really do understand that. But it comes to a point where you just have to start respecting yourself first and loving yourself first. And that's what self-love is about, is loving yourself, not loving your physical aspects. I don't know where people are getting the mix up. But anyways, love yourself. Respect yourself. Look, you can get fooled once, shame on them. Get fooled twice, shame on you. Like, it's that simple. And this is where I feel like people are, is that they don't mind people disrespecting them as long as they're showing them love. Well, look, I don't love you if I'm disrespecting you. Let's be honest. Like, even from the aspect of like just being in a relationship, you know, and you're constantly thinking that somebody is cheating on you or blah 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 or some shit like that, you know? I used to have those thoughts. I'm not gonna lie. But it's just like, all right, you gotta check yourself. Are you insecure? You know? What are you insecure about? It's just simple things like that. I feel like I'm going off in a downward spiral that I don't know where I'm going. But anyways, look, relationships are good. Don't get me wrong. They are the best thing that could possibly happen. It actually enhances life. But you have to find out what makes you happy first. You have to start respecting yourself first. You have to start loving yourself first. And then you can get into a relationship. A lot of people want to talk about leveling up. You're not leveling up just by getting into a relationship. But who am I? I'm just saying, you know, take it into the standpoint and just think about it. Meditate on it. And things might get better for you. They just might. So I want to say this. I'm happy. Super happy right now. You know, I had to contemplate on certain things in life. And I had to put things into a better perspective and how things were turning out. And I just want to say I'm great. But the reason I'm great is because I've just eliminated a lot of factors, you know, a lot of fears. I hiked a mountain this weekend, and when I tell you I had so much fun doing that I felt alive. And I feel like the only reason I felt alive was because I was doing something that I never thought I would be doing, something that I always wanted to do. Essentially getting something off of my bucket list. I hate using that word, but to put it into simpler terms, I crossed something off my bucket list and it felt so great. And you know, honestly, I want to start doing things that they're not death defying, but they're just like, all right, I'm not doing that. You know, I just want to play it safe. Like I want to go skydiving and hanging off a cliff. I know I've said that before, but hanging off a cliff or parasailing or just things like that. Because literally you have one life to live. And I feel like I've eliminated a lot of fear from my life. And I stopped worrying. Because literally, what is there to worry about? You know? I started believing that if I can control certain things, or actually majority of the things in my life, that things will get better. And I was right. Started controlling my emotions, my physical aspect, from a spiritual standpoint. Like literally all you had to do is control that. The only thing that you cannot control is somebody else's emotions towards you or how they feel about you. You can't control that. But pretty much anything else you can control. And that's just it. You know, in your life, what has benefited you from being exposed to it? Does that make sense? All right. In your life, what have you been exposed to that's benefited you? Much better. It's a better sense, right? But question yourself. Because I feel like I used to be afraid of a lot of things. But I feel like I've been in a lot of situations where it's just like, you could have been dead already, you know? And it's just things like that. And this is my thing when it comes to like overcoming and conquering. Is that, and this is what I tell people in the gym too, is like literally, you have an excuse and you have a reason. An excuse is, my dog ate my homework, that's why it's not complete. A reason is, oh, I had to go to the hospital, that's why I can't do my homework. You know, simple things like that. Stop making an excuse. I understand from the standpoint of having a reason why, but you have to look around that reason. Like, don't let an obstacle get the best of you. That's all I can really say about that. Like, if you let somebody or something stop you, then you don't deserve it. Point blank, period. But hey, that's all I really got to say. I'm going to wrap it up because I feel like I'm going to go on forever. But anyways, hey, I always like to end the show off with words of wisdom. Flowers don't pick themselves. Take it how you like it. Please check out the website, moreaboutsomethingelse.com. We do have merchandise, guys. But other than that, please, if you like the show, like it, review it, share it. You can do one or you can do all three. Either way, I appreciate you. But my name is Joshua and I'm out.